thank Chris for being with us in studio. As Chris talked about, we have a couple of guests coming away in our candidates forum today. We're going to say hello to Terry Hunt. Terry is the candidate Kane County Auditor. Terry, we want to say hello to you, sir.
Well, good morning, Jeff. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. It's been a very interesting campaign, and I look forward to a strong finish here.
Well, let's get to know you a little bit in this wonderful format that we have here on WRMN, and let's have yourself talk about you personally and professionally, some of the things we should know.
Well, my wife, Marty, and I have been married for 36 years.
Did you sit behind her in school or in front of her in school?
No, actually, and she dated one of my best friends that lived across the street for a long time. Wow. So we did not have the same experience that Sarah and Chris had, but
it's similar.
A little bit. And we've lived at our farm in Big Rock for over 20 years now. We have deep roots in that community. My mother still lives in Big Rock. Our daughter Sarah and her husband Sean live in nearby Sugar Grove. I have coached at the Hinckley Big Rock girls basketball program for 5 years. I've coached and sponsored a variety of youth sports in the area. Through the farm, we support the 4-H and the FFA programs. I serve as a trustee for the Village of Big Rock, and I'm an elected precinct committeeman in the Republican Party, Big Rock 2. And my entire family attends the Orchard Valley Community Church in Aurora. My background is that I earned a bachelor's degree from the University of Evansville. My major was accounting, my minor is finance. And from the time that I graduated until now, I have been a professional accountant or auditor for the past 37 years in a wide range of different capacities. I started at a CPA firm where I spent 3+ years performing audits of manufacturing and retail clients, did bank examinations and governmental compliance reviews. And I left the public sector to go to a private small family-owned business that operated in multiple states. We had our headquarters was in Indiana, and we had operating facilities in Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, North Carolina, a distribution hub in Alabama. And I was originally hired as the assistant controller. I was promoted to controller within 6 months, and promoted again to vice president of finance within 3 years. So all told, I spent 16 years as the corporate controller and chief financial officer for a company that had over 200 employees, and we did annual business in excess of $50 million. I also started my own small business in Big Rock. We used to have a farm where we have bred and boarded horses. We started that farm back in 1984, and it actually grew to the point where I could not continue both capacities, and eventually I had to make a decision, and I left our mining and manufacturing company to devote full time to running and managing the farm. And I'm pretty proud of the fact that we grew it from just a plot of dirt to one of the most nationally recognized farms, and we created jobs in our community. We paid over $9 million in wages to local workers, not to me or not to our corporate shareholders. These were regular people that worked hard for a living. Some of them were full-time jobs, many were part-time seasonal jobs, and I'm very proud of the fact that we were always a good community neighbor.
Well said, sir. Well, congratulations to that. Hinckley Big Rock, a very unique area. The first Harlem Globetrotter game was played there way back when.
That's right. It was played in Hinckley.
That's right. That's like back about 1926. So you're on the map before your time, young man. Hey, you're running for Kane County Auditor. We talked with Terry Hunt. Now, tell us why this is a very important office.
Well, the simple answer is that the county auditor serves as the financial watchdog for all of the county's financial operations. And the important distinction in Kane County is that our county auditor is an elected position. It's not appointed. And what that means is that after I'm elected, I'm looking forward to working with the new chairman, with the other elected officials, with the department heads and the staff. But I am always going to be responsible to the taxpayers and citizens. So while I work with my colleagues, I work for the average citizens. That's an important distinction. the auditor he's responsible for maintaining a continuous internal audit of a variety of operational departments. There are 24 departments with multiple sub-departments below those. And technically what happens is when I speak with people, a lot of times their eyes tend to glaze over because accountants aren't necessarily humorous people. And so I always try to boil it down to like 3 key numbers. And there are about 515,000 people that live here in Kane County. And the county is going to spend somewhere in excess of $230 million of taxpayer-related revenues, and there's only one official that's charged with reviewing all those. And so if you can just boil it down to those 3, it's pretty obvious that the job of the county auditor is very important.
Oh, no question about that. Now, you've talked about this. You mentioned this when you talked about your career, but let's crystallize what qualifies you to head up the auditor's office.
Well, again, there is the combination of my education, my experience, and my plan, I think, is the factors that make me not only qualified, but best qualified. I attended the University of Evansville, a university that is consistently ranked among the best in the Midwest, and I'm the only candidate who earned a 4-year degree from a 4-year school in 4 years. The quality of my education is generally regarded as superior to that of my opponents. I'm also the only candidate with 37 years of continuous experience as an accountant and an auditor. I have experience in public accounting. I've been the CFO in the private sector.
And that's changed so much over the last few years, hasn't it? Accounting really has taken on different looks.
Well, it has taken a different look, and it's taken a different look as especially in light of some of the situations developed, like with Enron, for example. There have been entirely new regulations and compliance requirements that have been put in place, and I think that obviously you want to keep current with those, but there's also an important distinction between being the county auditor, which is an internal function, and comparing that to the function of an external auditor who would express an opinion on financial statements.
Mm-hmm. Terry Hunt, why should folks vote for you?
Well, I think that I touched on some of the differences between us as candidates. I have a combination of education, experience, and a really specific plan for how we can continue to improve the performance of the function of that office. And I think it's one that's clear when I lay it out, either in small meetings or one-on-one with voters when we knock on doors. It becomes very clear to them that my qualifications are simply stronger, and I feel very confident that once people get the full explanation as to the differences between the candidates, they've been very supportive, and I've been very grateful for that.
It's our Kane County Republican Candidates Forum, our program today, special program here on WRMN. We talk with Terry Hunt in this segment. Don't forget, early voting ends today, and the primary election day is next Tuesday, March 20. Let's look at 2 or 3 of the issues. Can you tell us what folks have been asking about when you've gone out and about through these many months?
Well, the issues of the election are a little bit different for my office than they are for the county chair or for the circuit clerk or for the coroner, because there's really not a lot of contentious issues. Bill Keck has done a wonderful job managing and overseeing this department for 20 years now. But one of the things that we really want to try to do that is not an issue of concern to voters that there's been mismanagement. What we want to try to do is to continue to build upon the tradition that Bill Keck has developed. Improving transparency and public accountability is always going to be an ongoing priority for us. And the plan that I have put out, and it's on my website, I've actually got 7 points to my plan, and we probably don't have time to go into a lot of detail on all of that. But one of my top priorities would be to publish the county checkbook online in a format that is easily accessible and user-friendly. And the really important part of this is we can make that information available to the general public very easily and at no additional cost. I mean, it is very important in these days to be able to work not only better but smarter. We want to provide better service without increasing the tax burden on the taxpayers. I've worked with Adam Andrzejewski from the Open the Books fame. He's done probably more work than anybody in recent years in Illinois about improving the transparency and accountability of government. And we have already got the format and the basics for converting the system that exists now, which is technically it is available, but it's very awkward to maneuver through the PDF files that are out there. We want to make that very, very easy for anyone to click on and find information on specific vendors, how much they've been paid, how often they're paid, what are the amounts, what are the contracts. Those are the sort of things that people want to be able to have access to and not be frustrated with the process. One of the other things I want to really to dwell on or to focus on, I guess, is to increase our risk assessment program so that we can identify those areas that most need increased operational audits and make a prioritized audit plan that is based on how we can eliminate risks and how we can improve efficiencies and how we can provide better accountability to the taxpayers.